everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I know you'll be really, really glad you did. We have a great training on practicing the art of digital situational awareness. And it's interesting because we plan these trainings months in advance, but this is such a 2025 imperative, more so than when we even started discussing this training, because there are lots of people out there looking for the many different ways they can scam and steal things from us. My name is Rita Wolfson, and I am the founder of Financial Social Work. I am a national NASW pioneer, and my textbook with my co-author, Dr. Matt Schwartz, on financial social work, micro, meso, macro practice will be launching in June, and we hope you'll join us on that occasion. Linda Benjamin is here. She is our relationship manager, and Eric Sopp is here handling all things digital. Our trainer today is Dr. Veronica Hardy. She's done numerous trainings for us, and that may be why some of you are here today, because you know she's such a great trainer. But right now, I'm so happy to introduce Valerie Arendt. She is Executive Director of the National Association of Social Workers in North Carolina. She has provided us with a CEU, which I know you're all happy to have. So Valerie, go ahead. Tell us about this wonderful organization.
Thank you so much, Rita. And I just want to say happy Social Work Month to everyone joining us. My name is Valerie Arendt. I'm the Executive Director of the National Association of Social Workers North Carolina chapter. And of course, thank you so much to our longtime NASW North Carolina member, Rita Wolfson, who, for your constant support of NASW, and shout out to Rita, who was named, as she said, an NASW Social Work Pioneer in 2022 for being the founder and pioneer of financial social work. NASW North Carolina is honored to continue to support Rita and financial social work in educating thousands of behavioral health professionals and their clients on how to improve their relationship with their money and themselves, and to develop financial competence, financial health, and overall well-being. This year's theme for Social Work Month is Compassion plus Action, a theme chosen to continue to educate the public that social workers are educated, trained, and qualified to handle a myriad of societal troubles. The demand for social workers and behavioral health professionals has never been higher. Social workers need to be highly compensated for the support we provide our communities, and NASW continues to advocate for higher reimbursement rates and salaries nationwide. In the weeks and months ahead, social workers will be called to turn their compassion into action to help our nation address a variety of societal challenges, including the prospect of mass deportations and continued attacks on the people who are LGBTQ, reproductive rights, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our advocacy has never been more important to ensure that populations we are ethically bound to serve are protected, and our profession is not a target of elimination. But we cannot do this without your voice. NASW is stronger with a strong and engaged membership, and I thank each and every social worker on this call and NASW member who continues to support the work we do for the profession. Like my NASW chapter colleagues across the country, I would not be able to lobby at our North Carolina General Assembly to pass the Social Work Licensure Compact, which is moving through the legislature in North Carolina, advocate to our Department of Health and Human Services, or have meetings after meetings with insurance companies without the support of NASW members. So thank you so much again, Rita and Financial Social Work, for continuing to educate behavioral health professionals year after year. And I'm so excited for the continued relationship that you have with Dr. Veronica Hardy, as always, every year after year. And I'm so excited to see her presentation as well today. So thank you again, Rita, and I look forward to seeing you all again in April. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Valerie. Okay, let's get going. So I'm going to be doing this first part, and I just wanted to share with you all that I've been doing this for 27 years. And while I love what I do, I really wish there was no need for it. Unfortunately, the need is greater than ever before. And as I examine this, um, I keep thinking, how do we help our profession? How do we help the clients and agencies and organizations that are facing what's happening right now? So I did pull this, and I did mean to, I think this was in Salon. It just came out yesterday. It was written by the CEO of NASW, Dr. Anthony Street. And it talks about what's going on in the country. And I think as financial social workers and as social workers, we need to continue to find ways to do exactly what Valerie was talking about: stay current, stay present, and save our reputation and our profession. So, just a few housekeeping things. Um, we will send out the CE after to anybody who attended after this training. And the slides aren't shared, they are proprietary, but the recording will be on our website and YouTube channel within a few days, and the recording will be emailed to you within a few days. If you have questions, you can type them in the question box. We'll answer as many as time permits. If you have any tech issues, please go to financialsocialwork.com and use the chat so that Eric can help you in real time. I like to start with our financial social work affirmation because I think it captures the work I've been trying to accomplish in the past 27 years. It goes, just for today, I will love myself enough to face my fears, practice self acceptance, and embrace hope, silence my inner critic, speak my truth, and make peace with myself and with my past. Just for today, I will give myself permission to eliminate the toxic people, beliefs, and behaviors from my life and prepare for a better tomorrow by healing my relationship with my money and with myself today. You want to stay until the end because we have some special announcements and discounts before we finish. So, financial social work, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because we know that with such a significant registration for this training, some of you are not going to be familiar with our work. So, what is financial social work? What does it do? And who needs when and why? So we know that we're living in very uncertain times, so much more uncertainty than ever before. So we really, it's a little overwhelming to me actually how much this work is needed more than ever. So the very simple truth is that no one chooses to have money problems, but most people do. They need trustworthy, reliable professionals with whom to process all things monetary. They need a safe, non-judgmental space where they may talk and learn about money and certainly process all things financial. Everyone needs someone and somewhere to share their money secrets and questions, those that they've been hiding from or avoiding all their lives. These men, women, and all other genders, they need a financial social worker. Financial social work is at the intersection of social work, politics, the economy, gender, racial, social, economic, other, able justice, and climate change. Also, mental health and financial inequity. It is a behavioral model and it's heavily psychosocial, exploring those thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, values, and experiences And that's because until and unless behavior changes, nothing changes. And when we talk about financial behavior, we are talking about how people earn, spend, save, share, and borrow. So, financial social work is about healing your relationship with money itself, growing healthier personally, financially, and professionally, reducing financial stress, problems, anxiety, and trauma, creating a safe, non judgmental space to learn, process, and talk about money. Financial social workers are agents of financial change, addressing money and mental health, advocating for marginalized groups, helping clients cope, heal, and deal with their money and mental health. And they are committed to gender, social, and economic justice. We offer many different free and fee based services, and I'll tell you more about those a little later. It is everything that we do is about creating sustainable long term financial behavioral change. And now it does give me great pleasure to turn this training over to our guest speaker.
Hi, Rita, and hi, everyone. It is fantastic to be here today. It is always a delight, a 100% delight to be really a part of this team today. And as always, I thank Valerie Arndt for your presence here today and all the work that NASWNC is doing. One other point I'd like to make before I transition into the topic for today is to tune in to the Financial Social Work podcast. It is absolutely amazing. And what you'll hear is often a deeper dive into several of these webinar topics. So I had the opportunity to tune in today, and it has been wonderful. If you have not already, it is available on Spotify for you to be able to listen to. So I definitely wanted to give that shout out. And Rita, me and Rita were discussing earlier about muting and unmuting our microphones. And so this is just a reminder as well for you, Rita, you're able to mute at this point, and I'll remind you later about unmuting. And that's a challenge I know many of us experience ever since we started using more of our virtual methods as well. So our topic for today is about practicing the art of digital situational awareness, a 2025 imperative. As Rita mentioned, this is a very significant topic, very significant for this year as well, with the various changes happening in the financial sector, the mortgage sectors, and all these other various components of our lives. Prices are increasing. We may be using credit more, but at the same time, there are people who are interested in stealing our identities, accessing our finances, and using our finances in unapproved manners. So that is what our topic is about today. So just to share a little about me, my name is Dr. Veronica Hardy. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a national certified counselor. I am an author, and you can see my most recent publication here on this slide. It is titled Impact Your Income, Tips for Financial Wellness and Empowerment. And as you may see, the amazing Rita Wolfson delighted me by writing the foreword for this book. To learn more about me as well as my publications, please feel welcome to scan the QR code, because I know QR code scanning is a thing these days, but I've also included my website on this screen as well, which is veronicahardy.com or drveronicahardy.com. One other thing I would like to mention, I am currently a faculty member at Wingate University in Wingate, North Carolina, and This university just kicked off a new social work program, and I'm completely delighted to be a part of that program and wanted to send a shout out to my amazing colleagues, Dr. Wendy Sellers and Mr. Farrell Wright as well, and that whole Wingate community who is joining us today, and all of our wonderful attendees, those who are here joining us live, and those who will also be tuning into the webinar via the YouTube page or the Center for Financial Social Work website. Now, as we go into this topic today, I want to open by sharing several of the intentions. My hope is that you will be able to walk away with practical strategies and actionable steps to both protect your identity and protect your finances. And to support you in being able to do that, there is also a handout available. If you visit the screen where you can click on handouts, if you have specific questions about how to access that handout, you can feel welcome to post those questions into the handout chat as well. So in addition to that, I would like to introduce you to some of those high profile data breaches that have occurred, and for you to take a moment to explore whether your personal information has been breached in some way. And if it has, to engage in some strategies that I'm going to refer to as digital situational awareness strategies to help you protect your identity from hopefully further breaches, but also protect it from identity thieves using it without your knowledge. So let's move forward with our topic today and enter into our first poll question. So this question is simply asking, have you ever experienced identity theft? There are three options: yes, no, or I'm not quite sure. So I see it's quickly filling up. We'll just wait a couple more seconds for the voting to be completed. It's really filling up quickly. Wow, excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and share those results with you. So as you can see on your screen, 39%, and I'm so sorry to hear this, have experienced identity theft. We have 43% of our respondents who have said no, they have not experienced identity theft. And then we have 18% that are unsure. So this is definitely good feedback. And my hope is that as we transition through this session today, that you will gain further insight about either what identity theft is or how to prevent it or decrease the chances of it happening to you. So let's go ahead and get into a definition of identity theft. And I quoted this definition from USA.gov. And it states, when someone uses your personal or financial information without your permission. And this information can include names and addresses, as well as birth dates, phone numbers, credit card or social security numbers, bank account numbers, medical insurance account numbers, your email addresses, and so much more. So it is important to keep in mind that identity theft may not be limited to just certain aspects of information, but it can be a total wealth of information that others may have access to. Now, as many of us in this space today are social workers or other impact professionals, we know a lot of our learning has come through case scenarios, so I thought it would be great to include a case scenario in this webinar today. And I'm just going to give you a synopsis of what is on this screen. Our person here is named Vanessa, and Vanessa is a 52-year-old woman, and she has always kept her finances and her online identity in pristine shape. She has protected her information over the years and has taken multiple steps to do so. As a result, she has built a strong financial foundation, a strong retirement account. She's paid off a home. She has a great career. Well, imagine this. One day, Vanessa received contact from her mother, that her mother received information or a letter from Vanessa's credit union. And Vanessa simply asked her, "Oh, you can just keep it there till I visit home again." And then Vanessa started to think, wait a minute, my credit union does not have my mother's address. So she asked her mother to open the letter, and the letter basically revealed that someone was trying to open an account at a financial institution in Vanessa's name, and more information would be needed in order to open that account. Vanessa immediately became alarmed, stated that she did not attempt to open an account, that this was someone else's activity. She contacted the financial institution and found that someone had her social security number, her date of birth, her name, and other information, and was attempting to open an account. The saving grace was, it seems, they did not have Vanessa's current address, hence the letter that went to a previous address. Now, at that point, as we know, finances can be very emotional. So, Vanessa's emotions, some of her emotions were feelings of frustration, fear, a sense of grief and loss regarding her privacy and financial security. And this all resulted from a data breach that she had no clue about. Then Vanessa realized she needed to take immediate action, and she also had to become keenly aware of her new reality, that her information was now circulating on the dark web to thousands of people that she does not know. And now she faced the daunting challenge of battling an invisible threat. So I wonder for how many of you does this story resound or connect to your experiences? Now, as we move forward, let's go into our next polling question. And this question is about which of the following was reported as one of the top data breaches by number of 2024 in the United States? There's Power Schools, which you know is used by K through 12 schools, both in the United States and abroad. AT&T, our phone service, right? National Public Data, which holds vast data for many of us, or Loan Depot, which is a lending institution. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take just a couple more seconds to let the responses come in. They are coming in quite quickly. Excellent. All right, so now I'm going to share some of these results with you. And as you can see in the results, 14% said Power Schools, 38% AT&T, 40%, okay, National Public Data, and 9% Loan Depot. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the answer is. Ta-da! So if you said National Public Data, that had the highest number of those listed on our screen, 2.9 billion people had their personal data exposed as a result of this particular data breach. You can see Power Schools. I was unable to come across a specific number, but what I want you to keep in mind is that reportedly students and employees' information is housed in that Power School system. And then AT&T, 73 million people, not just current customers, but also previous customers. And Loan Depot, 17 million people. And these are just a few of the data breaches that have taken place in 2024. Next, over our next several slides, you're just going to see headlines that are quotes about these particular data breaches. And I invite you to visit these headlines to learn more and other information that you may be able to gain from your internet search about these topics. So the first headline is about national public data. confirms massive data breach included Social Security numbers. For many of you who are unaware of national public data, this is how our person in our case scenario, Vanessa, how her data was leaked. Now, Vanessa had no clue that national public data even exists or why her information would be part of national public data. But as you can see, billions of people in the United States have been exposed through the data breach experienced by national public data. AT&T data breach, millions of customers caught up in major dark web leak. And just to stress again, this is reportedly current and previous users of AT&T, approximately 73 million persons. And then Power Schools, which is often used by K through 12 school systems. And we're going to go a little deeper into this as well, just in regards to children and their data being used to create false accounts as well. So I often stress, generally youth do not have credit reports until possibly the age of 18 or older, but oftentimes children and youth's identity, social security numbers are used to open accounts. So I do stress the parents and caregivers to check and see if there is some type of credit report out there with information on it with your child's information. And then there is Loan Depot, which provides many loan servicing services to individuals to respond to their financial needs. So as you can see, Loan Depot in January 2024 provided an update about the cyber incident that took place as well and how the information was breached and leaked. It is important for us to stay updated on these types of breaches that happen and to have the opportunity to assess how it is affecting each of us. Now, earlier you heard Rita share about the behavioral perspective for the Center for Financial Social Work. And you can see this aspect of the mission noted on this particular slide, that financial health and wellness goes beyond dollars and cents, but it also gets into the thoughts, the feelings, attitudes, and emotions that underlie how we kind of navigate and use our finances. Now, I really want to connect this to identity theft and how our finances can be affected and the emotional impact of identity theft. The emotional impact of identity theft can vary based on the particular individual. Certain studies that I have come across are listed on this slide, and I invite you to visit these particular documents so you can gain more information about it within your personal space and time as well. But one of the studies found that there is a relationship between severe emotional distress and the time taken to resolve financial or credit issues. So, for example, sometimes credit issues can be resolved very quickly, as quickly as contacting your credit card company, identifying that you did not make a particular purchase, and certain credit card companies will be able to resolve that right away. But other issues could take months or even years to rectify. And that long, daunting duration of responding to such challenges can be overwhelming and contribute to severe emotional distress. Now, non financial costs of identity theft, such as this, can include stress, anxiety, sleep challenges, depression, loss of personal confidence, and more. So, as we focus on that mission behind the Center for Financial Social Work and tuning into our thoughts, emotions, attitudes, and beliefs, this is one way that can be impacted. So a question is, how do we go about kind of refreshing ourselves and feeling like we can enhance our financial self-awareness again after experiencing identity theft? As noted in the book identified on one of the previous slides, Impact Your Income, there is a definition of financial wellness, which is quoted on this slide from the book. And financial wellness can be perceived as a way of thinking and feeling and behaving that contributes to our financial comfort about our financial present and our financial future. In addition to that, it includes an awareness of skills necessary to maintain that financial comfort. So I really want you to keep in mind about skills because that's what we're talking about today. It is a continuous, intentional, and strategic practice that contributes to your overall well-being and quality of life. So as we go into our next slide, let's start to look at some skills that could help us feel a renewed sense of confidence after experiencing identity theft that may impact our finances, or even to use as prevention tools to decrease our susceptibility to identity theft. So, I wanted to introduce here the idea of digital situational awareness. And situational awareness is defined as the knowledge, understanding, and anticipation of situations that may be happening in your environment that are out of the ordinary and may be harmful to you. And as you are giving attention to those situations, thinking about how you are going to react, how you are going to interpret what is occurring, and then how you are going to put plans in place to decrease the negative impacts to your situation. On this particular slide, you see 4 steps to digital situational awareness that we will discuss throughout the remainder of this webinar. The 4 steps are assess, strategize, anticipate, enhance. So let's keep those 4 steps in mind. And let's start with assess. So, assess, meaning let's begin by studying your accounts. You have access to view your savings accounts, checking, retirement, investments, credits, and other forms of accounts that you currently hold. And as you assess those accounts, look for any discrepancies. Are there addresses that are not yours? Are there misspellings in your name? Are there accounts that you notice that you did not open? Are there changes to your balance and you know that you didn't withdraw any type of monies? Give attention to specific discrepancies that are out of the ordinary and not part of your pattern. Next, review your credit report for any discrepancies. Now, as many of you know, and there was also a previous webinar through the Center for Financial Social Work about credit reports and how to understand them as well. You can access a free credit report every year. The website is annualcreditreport.com. Use that opportunity to navigate your credit report and see if there are any discrepancies that exist. I also recommend looking to see if there's one for your children, to see if their social security number and name are being abused through identity theft as well. Check on names, addresses, your job history, date of birth. Again, see if there are any types of discrepancies that are out of the ordinary and stand out to you. Another step in the assessing stage in studying your accounts is to consider that you may not know that you experienced identity theft. Many of you in the poll earlier identified that you weren't quite sure. So these are ways to kind of enhance our awareness of, am I dealing with identity theft and I'm just not aware? There are several warning signs noted that we can look for, provided to us by USA.gov. Some of those examples are bills for items you did not buy, debt collection calls for accounts you didn't open, denials of loan application, certain pieces of mail that should be coming are no longer coming or they're missing from your mailbox. Again, this is all about situational awareness, being aware of your financial environment and what is happening around you. In addition to that assessing step, it is important to know what's out there. So, again, in your personal space and time, seek to enhance your knowledge about the types of breaches that have taken place and to learn if you have been susceptible through any of these breaches. I shared 4 with you earlier in this webinar, but to learn about more, there is information on this slide. Each company and organization has a certain amount of days to report their data breach. And there are certain locations where you can find that information. So if you visit the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights breach portal, you will be able to scroll through hundreds of breaches that have taken place and to see if you have connections with any of those organizations. Another place where you can look for and locate breaches that have occurred are through the Identity Theft Resource Center, their breach alert, and possibly type in some of the companies that you interact with or do business with and see if there have been any breaches. Next, that will allow you to have information to determine if you were affected by any of the breaches on those lists. So, for example, how many of you tuning into this webinar have AT&T? And did you know that AT&T experienced a breach? Have any of your children's schools been impacted by the Power School breach? And if so, how may that have impacted you or your child? So now let's go into our next step of our digital situational awareness process, which is strategize. Once you have this information, if you find out that your information has been breached, determine what your reaction is going to be. There are multiple organizations that have provided us with clear and specific steps that we can follow in response to a data breach or to help you prevent harm to your identity. So, one of those organizations is Identity Theft Resource Center. And if you visit their Victim Health Center, you will see a listing of steps that you can take. Another organization is the Federal Trade Commission. And if you visit the site identitytheft.gov, there is a further listing where you can also follow through with those steps. So, some of the steps that you would generally see on some of these websites are to freeze your credit. Now, certainly you can freeze your credit even if your identity has not been stolen, and that is a great proactive measure. A second step may be to place a fraud alert on your credit report if you have noticed someone attempting to open an account in your name. You can contact the companies where fraud has occurred and have them document it and close the fraudulent accounts. You can also make a report to the Federal Trade Commission as well. So these are some examples of how you can determine your reaction and strategize on steps that you might consider taking. The next step in digital situational awareness is anticipate, meaning think forward about, well, what can happen? My information is out there. I already know someone tried to open an account, but what else could they do with my information? And this is about really thinking forward in a way where you can make current plans to decrease the occurrence of future harmful effects. So, for example, a recommendation is to study reports about the various ways personal information is used. In this webinar, you can see two documents included that provide insight of what others who have experienced identity theft have gone through emotionally, the process that they went through to confront identity theft, and other ways that identity thieves have attempted to use their information. Once you are equipped with that information, give thought to, this could possibly happen to me. Now, what steps can I take to possibly enhance my strategy and start being prevention oriented and protecting my accounts even further? Once you have that information, our last step in our digital situation awareness strategy is to enhance, right? So we went through some of those steps earlier. We put our initial steps and plans into place, but now let me plan for the unexpected. What next steps might these identity thieves take? How else might they target my finances or my financial information? So just some questions for you to think about is, what about your IRS forms? What if someone else tries to submit your tax forms in your name? What about utilities? What if someone attempts to use your child's identity to open utilities at another location? What about your home? You're a homeowner. What if someone tries to transfer the title into their name? What about job applications? What if someone attempts to apply for a job using your information? Overall, give attention to what further steps you could take to secure your accounts and your identity. So let's take a moment to reflect back on Vanessa. Remember the case scenario that we opened with, and look at how Vanessa responded to her situation, as well as how she enhanced her particular strategy in response to identity theft. So Vanessa placed additional procedures on her account, such as verbal confirmation words. She established low balance thresholds on her accounts, her financial accounts, and alerts for account transactions. So she receives daily updates about her accounts, and she's able to tune in, again, being situationally aware of any abnormal changes in use of her accounts. She changed all her passwords, including her email and cell phone passwords. She obtained identity theft protection and credit monitoring services. And this is a key one I really want to highlight for everyone today. Vanessa also began the process of removing personal and unnecessary detailed information about herself from her online presence. Something that's important to remember about identity theft, the more information a person has about you, the more they can pretend to be you. So, something simple as where you went last week, a vacation you went on, your favorite food, a restaurant that you stopped at, all of that information can contribute to someone impersonating you. So visit your social media, look at information that does not to be need to be out there that could contribute to your identity being used in an unwanted manner. And just some further steps that Vanessa took, she created an identity theft report, which was prompted by identitytheft.gov. That is one of the steps that identitytheft.gov promotes you to take if you have experienced identity theft. Now, what does an identity theft report consist of? It consists of an identity theft affidavit, which you would complete on the identitytheft.gov website, and a police report. So you visiting your police station, reporting this crime, and these two documents together create an identity theft report. She accessed the check system, which is at checksystems.com, and opted out of pre-screened credit offers for 5 years. Many of you may receive credit offers in the mail, but if your mail is being stolen and your information is on the dark web, think about how someone can open a credit offer in your name. She created an ID Me account where she was able to create a PIN that would be required for her tax documents to be submitted to decrease the chances of someone else having the opportunity to submit her taxes in her name. And then, most of all, Vanessa thanked her parents for being proactive about not just throwing away her mail, but alerting her about mail pieces that still came to that household. This is important for all of those who have moved or transitioned. Again, we can forward our mail, but that forwarding expires. So if there's someone still living in that residence who you have a relationship with, kind of encouraging them to inform you of your mail pieces that still may come in. So now, Vanessa is situationally aware and very proactive and pays attention to her financial environment. So now, my question for you, it's your turn. What will be your next steps in digital situational awareness and finances? Thank you, everyone, for attending this presentation today. And at this point, I am going to transition back to Rita. And Rita, just remembering to start up your microphone again.
Thanks. Thanks, Veronica. I did forget. That's pretty funny. I told you, everyone, that you would love this training, right? I knew you would. So, a little more before we finish up, take some of your questions. We have been introducing new video courses. You told us you'd rather learn all about various ways to work with your clients around finances, and video courses were among the most popular. So far, we have 2 courses. A third will be here before the spring. And today, we are offering those of you who attended 50% off for the next week on our video programs with the code half off 1. So what do those courses look like? We have the financial social work video program, and that has 24 CEUs with it. And at 50% off for the next week or so, you can purchase that for $197.50. The Feminomics video course is very exciting, looking at different issues having to do with the gender of money. And at 50% off, you can earn those 2.5 CEUs for $47.50. So be sure to check out our video programs. We also have a partner program. We have a financial wellness magazine. We have our financial social work directory, and we know that people use the directory to find therapists. And thank you, Veronica. I take it you listened to the podcast. We're very, very excited with it. And I encourage all of you to listen to the podcast. And I think you'll find that in addition to your ability to learn a lot from the podcast, you may want to share it with your clients, colleagues, family. Good stuff, I promise. And as we wind down, I want you all to know that these 4 women created the Financial Social Work Collaborative last year. They're amazing. And their goal is to support all financial social workers and to promote financial social work. The 4 of them are coming to Charlotte, North Carolina and I live right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So we are inviting you for kind of an informal networking event on March 29th at 5 p.m. I have the link right there. And if you would prefer to just email me at rita@financialsocialwork.com, I can give it to them to add to the list. We'd love to see you if you're in North Carolina, South Carolina. If you want to make the trip, come on and join us. We'd love to meet you. Next month, I'll be doing this training on who needs financial social work. And the month after, we have a guest speaker on 5 money languages to improve financial communication for couples. And then in June, we're so excited to do our textbook launch. We'll be giving away some textbooks. We'll have speakers, and we're pretty excited about that. These are all worth attending, so please join us. A few things to remember about money is that no one chooses to have money problems, but most people do. The good news is that no one can or needs to know everything about money, but everyone does need to know certain things about money. We have to stay focused on a connection between money and mental, behavioral, physical, emotional, and social well-being. And if we want to have more money-wise adults, we need to raise more money-wise children. Now is the time to invite greater financial wellness into your practice, your casework, your client work, your classrooms, your workplaces, communities, conversations, and certainly into your own life. We can see what's happening in this country, in our organizations, and in our own lives. So let's all strive to become agents of financial change. This is the textbook that we have coming out. And this is, of course, our signature course, the Financial Social Work Certification. And now we can take some questions. Linda Benjamin, are there questions?
Well, there's lots of thank yous to Rita and Dr. Hardy. Many people saying this was eye-opening. Thank you. Great information. Thank you so much. So with that, we have some technical questions. The first one of which is, are we able to review our credit reports if we've frozen our credit file?
Wow.
Yes, you should still be able to view it. Freezing it just locks it, so it would take additional steps for someone to open new forms of credit, but you should still be able to access your credit report and navigate the information.
Beautiful.
And I'd like to point out that I froze our credit reports and had the occasion then to have to unfreeze it. And so I just thought I'd share with you. I was afraid that was going to be very difficult to do, but it wasn't. So it is worth freezing it. Well, in my opinion, but that's my contribution there. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. And next question, Dr. Hardy, what kind of proof is required to prove identity theft when making reports to the FTC, etc.?
So one, you definitely would need to make an account, and you need to have access to your personal identity information, so to speak. And they list a lot of this on the website as well. As far as your social security number, that's going to be needed, current addresses. So some of that similar information that we need to be able to access our credit reports as well, we would need to be able to do that to prove that our identity has been affected or stolen. That affidavit would also ask you to fill in certain amounts of information on identitytheft.gov. and building that affidavit. And then also the police report and any other information you have, such as in Vanessa's case, she had the letter. Her mother sent her the letter and also sent her an image of the letter. She had emails. When she contacted the financial institution, she had documents from the financial institution. So I will say, in addition to your personal information, such as the social security number and such, also keeping documents. So having that paper trail and being able to take it with you, having the name or ID number of anyone that you have spoken to as well. So creating a folder and keeping all that to help support and provide evidence that your identity has been stolen.
I just want to point out that you should never give your social security number to anyone unless you know it's an absolute secure website. I'm sure you want to emphasize that too, Dr. Hardy, right?
100%, because remember, there are so many scams out there that are requesting your information. I don't know if many of you have received those toll texts that have been coming through on our phone saying you owe for a toll. Again, scams like that prompt you to share your personal information. And I came across two people yesterday who experienced that toll scam, right? So just being aware, using secure websites, using the actual website versus random phone numbers and random links that come through on our cell phone. So really giving attention to that, just like Rita said.
Let's understand that there are people that wake up every morning with the intention of hurting hardworking people, of stealing, scamming, cheating. Um, Unfortunately, I know that's very cynical, but it does seem to be the truth. So be really cautious. Do not open emails that you don't know where they came from. Don't click on links that you don't know anything about. Sorry, Dr. Hardy, I just feel really strongly about that.
Well, I'm going to add to that, Rita. Like Rita is saying, don't open links. Remember, many of us have our work email accounts. And some of these breaches occurred because someone opened a link on their work email account, and that can potentially expose everybody. It allows someone to get into that work system and violate this information. So again, your work email account, your personal accounts, your cell phone. I see many people are sharing in the chat that they have been receiving those toll scams via their cell phone. So really situationally aware of what all of this means.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
I think everybody's gotten the toll scam. We do have maybe time for one more question. And this one is interesting. How can I determine if my information is being shared on the dark web? Other than getting you need to pay this toll text.
So one recommendation is there are different organizations that provide protections for our accounts. I don't want to promote any here necessarily, but you do know there are also our credit score reporting agencies such as Experian and TransUnion. At times you can gain an account through them as well, and they scan the dark web to see if any of your information is on the dark web, and they send you alerts. And there are other organizations or businesses, credit monitoring organizations, as we call them, that do that as well. And they will send you the alerts of where they are finding your information. And again, the other way to determine is if there are these discrepancies on your credit report, if you're getting alerts that there's an attempt to open a particular account, that's another sign as well.
Okay.
Well, we couldn't do what we do in 2025 without the internet, without the opportunity to have access to all the things that we have. But we have to remember that we have to be willing to put in the time to make sure to be smart about what we are learning, what we are doing, and how we are interacting. Any last words of wisdom, Dr. Hardy? I know you've got many, but you want to sign off with something brilliant?
Brilliant. I'm all about protecting our children, right? So I shared that during the webinar today, and I want to stress that many youth do not realize how their credit has been misused until they are of age and start applying for loans or applying for colleges and then get rejected because someone has abused their credit and now they have to take all this time to get it fixed. So please, let's use this as another way to protect our children. In addition to that, I have to say happy Social Work Month, everyone. Compassion plus action. Thank you, everyone, for all that you do on a daily basis.
Thank you, Dr. Veronica Hardy. I hope we'll see you back here soon. And everyone, let me put in my best wishes for Social Work Month. And thank you for joining us. Okay, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.